What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I'm back again with another video. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Riva. It's very nice to meet you. Before we get into this video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. And as I always say, make sure you guys leave your comments in the comment section down below. It does not matter how you feel about this video. We all want to talk about it. Also, if you're not following me on Instagram, follow my Instagram. It's at RIVAH_JORDON, and we're going to go ahead and get right into the video.
Opinion on what I believe happened. Before I do so, you mentioned that you guys were on and off again for 6 years.
Right.
How many times did you guys break up within those 6-year period?
Twice.
Mm-hmm. So you broke up twice, and then you got back together. So you broke up once, broke up twice. So this is your third time back together. The second time you guys broke up, why did you guys break up?
We broke up because when we broke up, we went off and messed around with people that we shouldn't have. Mutuals.
So you broke up because you guys both cheated on each other, and then you guys decided to take a break.
Practically.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so to me, the reason why I ask that question is usually when I meet somebody who starts dating someone at a very young age, what I would argue is because I'm Nigerian, so I have a very immigrant mindset the way you guys do. But sometimes we look at our parents' situations and we look at it like they stayed together through it all, and as like it's a good thing. But sometimes it's like they dealt with a lot with each other, and sometimes not saying all parents, but they sometimes dealt with things that they shouldn't have dealt with. And so what I've seen is that when you're young and you're dating, you're figuring it out. You're like, think about it, you were 17 years old.
Yeah.
You know, Yvonne is 28, I'm 31. Like, looking back on 23, 24, like, I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So imagine you looking back on 17.
Right,
and imagine even for him being a man. Like, a 17-year-old me was like, as a kid. And so it's like you have these two kids trying to create this relationship, and it's going to have so many ups and downs and issues. But because it was that first love, you always kind of revolve around each other. And even though the fit doesn't make sense, because it was a first, and because you have the immigrant mindset where I want my first boyfriend to be my last, husband and all that stuff, like, we have this idea of keep things going when they don't need to keep on going.
Right.
And so eventually, I look at it like that move in was kind of like in that guy's brain, or even in your brain, this last-ditch effort to kind of salvage it. The way some people, like, they have kids to, like, fix a relationship, right? But it wasn't like he, in my opinion, I don't know what's going on, I'm just theorizing here. But it seems as though it's not like when people say someone changed all of a sudden, it's not that they changed all of a sudden. It's that something was building up for years and it finally came out.
Right.
That person may not have been able to express, that person may not have been able to deal with it, but something was going on for years.
Internally.
Internally, exactly.
Listen, this conversation is so necessary, and I'm so glad that he's taking this approach to the conversation because it's so valid. Like, a lot of people just start dating, they just get out there, like he said, they might have this whole description in their head, like, oh, I'm going to be with, I'm only going to be in a relationship with one person for the rest of my life, and that's just how it's going to be, and that person's going to be my husband. And a lot of times, too, because of, like, religious reasons and stuff like that, like, they want to stick it out, right, and stick it together, but keep the relationship together. But especially when you are 16, 17, you don't know the vetting process, you don't really know kind of like what to look for, what not to look for, you don't even know what quote unquote red flags are. You're just staying around because you think like that, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do, like I'm supposed to be committed and I'm supposed to stay, not realizing that you don't even know the standard of yourself, right? Like, you don't even know what you bring to a relationship, or what kind of wife you would be, what kind of mother you would be. Like, you don't even know any of these things. You're just in a situation playing a role because of what you've seen or the lack thereof. So that's a very, very valid point that he made, like trying to stick it out and trying to hold it down, and don't even know yourself. Okay, don't know nothing. Don't know yourself. Don't know how to be a wife. Don't know how to be a mother. Don't know anything besides where I'm gonna try to make this work because I either have seen my parents stay together and they were together at this age and now they're still married, or the lack thereof, like I said before. So that's a very, very vital piece of information, because a lot of people get into situations based off of what they see of other people, not realizing that every single person in the world, everybody's story is different.
And so to me, that's where it's like, man, there was so much going on that sometimes we overlook, that when the explosion happens, we're like, yo, how did this bridge fall down? But there was kind of these signs that were going on for all these years that we sometimes neglected and overlooked.
Right.
Were there any signs that you neglected and overlooked?
Yes.
What were the signs?
I feel that trust was one of them.
Yeah.
Communication was another.
It was just a little fishy. Just some things just did not add up.
Yeah, some things just didn't add up. But, I feel that that's what a lot of people have going on in their relationships for the most part. Is those are like a lot of the main issues.
Did y'all talk about it though? Like, if you expressed those feelings to him, y'all talked about it, came to like a resolution?
We haven't yet. He actually, I was turning up last night,
Okay.
I was at the club, and I get a text at 11:45 p.m. And I was just, and I haven't, we haven't touched base. We haven't touched base on, the subject.
She got that "Hey big head" text.
And so he was like, "Hey, I just wanted to know if we're involving, ourselves with other people or no." And it's been 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, I look at the phone and I was like, pour me another shot.
Oh, Lord.
We might need to go to Patreon. We gotta go to Patreon.
Wait, hold on. We got 5 more minutes on the episode. We gotta keep. Listen.
It's getting better and
getting
Juicy. This might be too juicy for the YouTube, man. This might be too
it's getting
juicy.
crazy.
I feel like we're in therapy.
The fundamental thing that I neglected, that I believe 90% of people neglect who have dating problems, is I did not value people who valued me.
Okay, yeah.
And so one of the biggest things that when somebody says, "Oh, this guy is so amazing," and I'm like, "Oh, tell me about this guy," they'll tell me how tall he is, how handsome he is, how hardworking he is, how smart he is, how this he is. But what they don't ever describe is how committed to her he is. And so my biggest thing was whenever I met women, like if she was smart and beautiful and funny and kind and awesome, I was all in. But I never once realized, wait, is she all into me? And I think sometimes what we believe, or what we're kind of told in like these Disney movies, is that if I see somebody and I'm all in, they should be all in.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
If they're not all in right now, if I can just love them with all my heart, which probably what it sounds like you were doing, if I could just love them with all, they'll want me back. And so I hear stories. I mean, myself, it was like 7 years, from 19 to 26, 2 different girls, spent all my time trying to convince them to be with me. I hear story for so many women, 3, 4, 5, 7 years, the same guy trying to convince him to be with them. And I realized, I said, yo, what if we only valued people who valued us? What if a prerequisite of me wanting to date you was you have to be equally as attracted and committed to me as I was into?
That's valid. That's valid, because we do see a lot of people who get it. I won't even say people. We do see a lot of women. I don't know if men necessarily do this, but I know Hafiz said that he has done this before, but majority of women get into relationships and they think that they can love them through. That's so true, right? Like they think that what they're doing is enough, and I can do this, and I can try to change you, and I can try to mold you, and I can try to make you, view me as important, or view me as, whatever I want to appear to be. And there's a fine line, because a woman that's really in love with a man and like willing to like hold him down, willing to be there for him, willing to support him and stuff like that, is a great thing, but it is necessary to know that you matter in that person's life and you are important in that person's life, because a woman who does that maybe time and time again with other people and gets her heart broken begins to build this wall and become extremely hard and jaded, so it's important to also know that life is not a Disney, fairy tale, but also that 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 person's love for you might be there too, but it might be in a different way, and you can't expect your exact who you are to be, for a man to do it the same exact way, because we just think differently. He might be like, "What do you mean I don't love you? I bought you a house. I gave you a ring. I did all this." Like, what do you mean? And she's like, "Oh, but you don't hug me, or you don't tell me that I'm beautiful." Like, there's different mindsets, and of course, I'm just talking randomly because it's different levels of things. But it's true. It's very, very true what he's saying.
Right.
And I
It's
feel like
a
when we
connection,
don't
and
have
it's hard
that,
to find.
you said what?
It's the connection that's hard to find.
100%, 100%. And then I think by trying to force that, that's when we keep on having the same mistakes over and over again, because the connection is just not there.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it happen.
Right.
So with the experiences that you all have been through, how would you all decipher that connection, that true connection?
Letting things flow.
Organically,
without forcing anything.
Yeah. And I'm an energy person, so I can decide, like, the energy will be there right away. That's how I will feel it. But
What is that feeling? What is that
like,
energy?
it's just like a connection, like more of a soul connection,
Like, there's a balance between both people. Like, there's like, you're getting the same amount of effort from both sides.
And I have to say that what she's saying about the soul connection and energy and stuff like that, that's, I don't know if you guys know, they call me, when I was on Lapeef that time, they called me the earthy chick, okay? And I'm a very spiritual person, energy, all that. But I think that what she's saying can be taken very, very different ways for a lot of different reasons. One, because what you're considering energy and connection, somebody might feel those feelings and be like, "Oh, this is the energy and the connection that she's talking about," when actually it's just lust. Okay, like you just think he look good, and you think you have a bond or a connection with this person. You guys are just both in heavy lust, and that's a very, very different thing. So I think when it goes to feelings and connections and this and vibes, all of these things can be like misconstrued for something else. It might be a good vibe, good energy, good this, good that, but in actuality, it's just really the fact of, like, he really wanted you and you really wanted him, and it was a magical time. Also, if people get caught up so much in the vibes and the energy and stuff like that, it's going to be hard to get out of that honeymoon stage. I'm not saying some people don't stay in the honeymoon stage, for a long time, but that butterflies, that new feeling, because it's new love and you're getting to know each other and stuff like that, after time, it's going to be hard to transition into, maybe the feelings changing a little bit in a different way or in a different manner, just because you guys are more familiar with each other. You might feel like the magic is gone when it's just in a different way. You know what I'm saying? So I think getting caught up in the vibes, the energy, that kind of stuff, I think there's a fine line with that, for sure.
So do you feel like you had that with the other guy?
Yeah. I just think that him and I are going through, we're going through different phases in life, and we're also growing as it's going, so I feel, sure, we've had our issues, but I feel that he's in a different phase in his life, and so am I, and I feel what we've always struggled with is learning how to cope with each other's differences and different perspectives and stuff like that. I feel like that's more of our issue.
When you talk about phases of life, I'm not saying you got red bottoms on. Are we talking about different phases of tax brackets?
I mean, like,
they were young though, so you go to different stages in your life.
I'm asking.
Yeah, like, I feel like right now, for me, like, to give an example, for me, I'm in my career, I'm in what I want to do. He's just now figuring that out.
Lord
see,
Jesus.
you see how we have to have a new onion?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He had to point out, he said, "What do you mean by phases? Are you talking about financially?" Like, he just knew off rip that that's obviously what she was going to be talking about because of the way that she was wording it. Like, oh, we're just in different places. We're going through different phases in our lives.
When the woman, feel like she is, more advanced or more driven, more focused, has more purpose, and the guy's still figuring out, they're always gonna have a chaos.
I'm sorry.
Disconnect.
What? And this is the thing for me. I'm just curious what you like. Like, what do you like about him?
What do I like about him?
What makes you stay with somebody for 6 years?
Right.
You guys cheated on each other. You're in a different place in life. You're established. He's figuring things out. He kind of kicked you out of his house, but you kept like, what is it?
Can I answer my experience?
Oh, please do.
I think because
Sex?
No, because I was in a relationship for 9 years.
Okay.
So I know, and I was in a relationship 16 to 25.
Wow.
So I think it's more or less, and I realized it when I wouldn't say separated, but he left. So I realized that when I kind of did my healing process is we're comfortable. We're comfortable there. That's what we know. We don't want to be lonely. That's how I felt. That's what my thing was.
And how long did you feel like that?
I didn't realize it until we actually were apart.
How long do you think you were like that?
I think so. We were together. So I think about 5 years, I would say.
Wow.
So you feel like you're just going through the motions for 5 years?
Yeah.
I
That's
hear
crazy.
that story so often from women.
Mm.
I call it the cul-de-sac of misery.
And it was. It was. I
No,
don't like
it's
to say
not funny.
it wasn't,
I
but
expected it.
it's just, you're right. Like, we don't know anything. And especially when you grow up with somebody.
See, this is another situation that's like a fine line, because you don't want it to be a situation with a woman that, the first sign of anything she doesn't like and she's running away, which is what we see majority of the time, right? The first time they see one thing, they're like, oh no, it's over, I'm done. There's got to be somebody better. There's got to be greener grass, So that's one aspect. But then the other aspect is that a woman who knows it ain't going nowhere. Okay, he's not committed. This is not working out for you. This and that, and then you just sitting around staying, hoping and praying that this person's going to change. There's definitely a fine line between the two. Now, what she's saying about them going through different phases in her life, I'm really hoping that she answers the question as to what she sees in him. Because if he, that's a long time to be with somebody that you don't see a future with, for sure. Or that you're still saying that we're going through different phases and, you need to be apart while you're exploring your career and he just got there. And somehow, based off of the things that she's saying, it seems like maybe she thinks that she's over him, because she got there first. Like, oh, yeah, I got my career figured out and he's still figuring it out. So, like, we need a break. You know what I'm saying? Which is it's interesting because it's like you hold him down for all this time, but then, like, at this point, when you feel like your career is maybe taking off more than him and stuff like that, now all of a sudden you're not holding it down. Like, that's the reason why you guys are apart. It's very interesting.
And you've been together for so long, it's like I would deal with it. But I love you, but it's not I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
So, and then once you realize, it's just like, dang, I was comfortable the whole time.
And you realize that by going to like therapy, talking to people?
No,
maturing.
No, that's good. That's good because I'm glad you guys are friends. Because, like, I'm kind of seeing she's a couple years, not just saying like intellectually, but just like life experience wise than where you're at. And she's at 26 where you're at right now. And to me, I call it the cul-de-sac of misery because it's like you go through these cycles over and over again. With either the same type of guy or the same guy.
Right.
And I meet these girls and they're women, I'm sorry. Meet these women and you always find out they've been dating a guy for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years.
You see it all the time.
Exactly. On and off again. 4, 5, 7 times. And you're just like, why are you still here? It's like a cul-de-sac. We just keep on driving.
I love this conversation. I'm gonna link the full video for you guys so you guys can see it.
Going through this over
but
and over again.
But the thing is that I don't get is because, like, for myself, right? Just for me. I personally don't understand the aspect of the cul-de-sac of misery, just because of the fact of like, if it's over, like if the relationship is done and it's over, I am not spinning the block. Okay, so I personally don't understand the cul-de-sac of misery that women go through. Especially if you've been with somebody 5-6 years and you guys have broken up in between. That's just like once it's over in the relationship, like it's just over. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Giving it all you got and not trying to hurry up and spin the block and coming back and same thing. You've only spent like what 1-2 months apart, and then you go back again, and then you spend 1-2 months apart, and then you go back again. And where has there been any space for growth or change or evolution within that time frame? I understand that people do that. Like I understand that people do go back to situations, but maybe there's like a time span. Things have changed. You know, that person has evolved mentally. This person has evolved mentally. You know, maybe the therapy was sought out. They realize their wrongdoings, and then they can, you know, make it be what it's supposed to be, right? But I feel more times than not, it's a comfortable thing. You know, they just go out there, they venture off, they realize that it's hard out there in the dating world, and then they just kind of like get back together out of being, as the woman said, comfortable, which is an issue. You know, it's an issue. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I genuinely want to know. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and again, if you're not following me on Instagram, follow my Instagram. It's at RIVAH_JORDON. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah! Love you.